All right, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's walk over here. Sit down. Gosh. Go get by mommy. So, hello, YouTube. My name is Alexis Murphy. I am your host. Oh my gosh, y'all. It took me forever to get here. But I'm here, thankfully, by the grace of God. Before you see Mama phone, go give me Mama phone. I am here by the grace of God. So, I got my baby down here, and there's a reason why I have her down here. Get closer, because I'm going to share a little story about her. Let me go ahead and go to this app, and then I'll go into details of what's going on about me, and then we're going to get into the topic for tonight. So, I am almost there. Thank you, Lord. I can't even think, y'all. Bear with me. All right, load up. I am actually 38 weeks and 5 days pregnant. I have literally, according to my estimation date, I have 9 days left. I am 19.41 inches long. Estimated weight of the baby is 7.13 pounds. And I'm just reading y'all that. So I'm going to share y'all my experience of being 38 weeks. So it's like soon as I hit 38 weeks, I am still losing my mucus plug. It's slowly for surely coming out. My husband said I had these same problems with Zephaniah and Zariah at the end, but I don't really remember it being like this. So I had an incident. I was at work and I had contractions for like an hour, and I was like, oh my gosh, it felt like I'm going in labor. And I set that hour out to see was it going to last. I went to go try to use the bathroom. I had to use the bathroom. And one of the signs that labor is approaching is your stool is soft. When your stool begins to get soft, or your diarrhea, it is a sign that labor is approaching. I'm still losing the mucus plug, so that was scary. And so I came home, and now I had that problem again. It wasn't bad, but I had it really this morning. And before I made any phone calls, I was like, let me see how long this is going to last. So I texted my doula, and she told me to count the contractions, and the contractions was not close together. They wasn't. And I wasn't to the point where I was in pain to where I couldn't move. I remember with Zariah, I was trying to make it to the bedroom, but I ended up on my knees and I couldn't move. So, excuse me, it's a bug being a pest. Move it. Gosh.
My dad was a bug at the moment.
Yes. So, I've been having a lot of false alarms, but I definitely feel like my body is preparing for labor. So, I'm patiently waiting. I'm not gonna lie, and be honest, it's very uncomfortable being in pain for an hour and then everything go back to normal. I had a very busy day today, you guys. I had to go and handle family business, and y'all, if you live in Alabama, if you live here in Mobile, stay cool. It got as hot as 101 degrees. It's like crazy hot. and I had to get around and go different places with 5 kids, and just hoping and praying that I don't have no more contractions and don't go in labor somewhere I did not want to be. So that is that. And I got home, I cooked, took care of the husband when he got off from work, and fixed his food and stuff. And by the time I was finished with everything, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. And I was like, I was really looking forward to doing this one. And that's when I'm like, no, I'm going to press my way through, because this one is very important. This is about the word, and I'm going to press my way through because I know that this is going to be a blessing. So we're going to get into the topic. And the topic is, so I'm going to eventually get to why I have my daughter down here with me. This is Sephora. Next time I'm going to bring Zoe down here, because the girls never get to be on the camera, so I try to be fair. They never get to. It's either Zachariah, because he's helping take care of Zephaniah, and then I did show Zariah, and so my middle girls, they never get camera time, so I just decided I would bring Zariah down here. All right, so today's topic is 38 weeks pregnant, baby is born, now what? Taking care of yourself. The history behind postpartum and psychosis. So that's the topic that we're going to talk about tonight. So out of all my children, my first child, I've never really experienced postpartum. All I wanted at the time, because that was like my first year into my marriage, and I think I had to accept that my family was not going to support me, and that was what I struggled with. Is I just had this beautiful baby, just got married, and my family was. I had a hard time accepting that they was not happy for me, or was receiving of me. So I didn't struggle. That's what I struggled with. I wasn't struggling with, oh, my baby, and I feel disattached from him. I was having a child, and the family was like a dream come true. And my kids are moving around. But anyway, it was like a dream come true. Now, this is Sephora. She is my second child. Tell them how old you are.
I'm 6 years old.
Yes, she's 6 years old. And Zachariah was actually 3 months when I found out I was pregnant with her. And I remember riding in the car with Sam. We was coming from somewhere, and I said, oh, I don't mind having them back to back. I didn't know what I was saying. And so 3 months later, we found out I was pregnant again. And y'all, I was in shock. I was like, I can't have babies that fast. I was like really in shock. And the pregnancy was great. But after she was born, I will say, I won't call it postpartum, because I didn't feel like I wanted to harm my baby. I didn't feel like, I think I was still in shock. I'll say it was probably a little postpartum. But postpartum is like, you just don't want to be, it distances you from your child. And I think the first couple of days I got home, I think Sephora was like 2 or 3 weeks old, where I did feel a disattachment from her, but quickly got over it. And once I got over it, I looked at her, and she was so beautiful. She was just beautiful, chubby little girl. And this is the baby that was breached. She was head up, and the doctors took his hand and turned her. And hold on one second, y'all. Zachariah, Y'all need to be quiet.
I just used the bathroom, Mommy.
Okay. Now get back in your room. Close the door, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. My son, I tell you. But she was breached. So she was due another date, but the doctor wanted me to go ahead and have her early. He successfully turned her, and I was still able to have her vaginally with, of course, I got induced. But after I had her, I could say just a little tad of postpartum, but it wasn't bad enough to, like just crying out. I think I quickly got over it. I think part of mine was shock that that I got pregnant so soon. But after that, I never had any problems. I bonded with her great. I breastfed up to 5 months only because I found out I was pregnant again. Y'all bear with me. I'm feeling contractions as we speak. Oh gosh. But yeah, that's the story about her. And y'all, I love all my children. And if any parent know you have a lot of children, all of them have something about their personality that you love. So your babies, they're all unique in a different way. So I really try not to show favoritism. But since she's down here, she turned out to be, she is the sweetest little girl. I thank God for her. She listens and she tries so hard, bless her heart, to perfect whatever mommy and daddy tell her to the T. She is the least one to get disciplined because she really tried to please mommy and daddy. And I love her so much for that, because today was very hard. And she was the only child where I didn't have to say, do this and do that. And after she came out the store, she's like, Mommy, I'm being quiet. I said, yes, you are. And she's perfect. So I thank God for her. And when she was a little baby, she always made this little smirk at her dad. And this is his heart as well. But we love all our kids, but that's just special. That's her special gift. Where, my other kids have different areas where they touch my heart and make things special. So I'm so grateful for this little girl, and I'm so glad that God didn't allow me to stay in a depressed mode, because I could have missed out on loving my daughter the way God designed me to. So I'm grateful that I got over all of my feelings. Even with this pregnancy, if you watch the first video, I just had, was feeling like it was the wrong timing. But I got over it because life is precious. So, love you, sweetheart. I love you. And everybody says this is my twin. Do we look alike? She put her glasses on. We definitely look alike. But this is my sweet little girl, and she helped me all night tonight. Helped me clean up. She's just good. She's a sweet girl. Well, you can go to your room now, okay?
Okay.
Look at the camera. Look at the camera and say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What you know where your headband is? I took it off. It may be over there. Look over there and see. Is it over there?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, put your headband on and make sure they quiet.
Okay.
All right. Love you, Smuckums.
Me too.
Well, let me check my camera, y'all. I have to check my camera. Oh my gosh. 14. So I'm not gonna, I guess this will be my introduction video, because I don't want you have to keep getting up with this one. All right. So as I was researching this, and then I was comparing it to the Word of God, about what God says about having children and all these things that He created, versus watching this documentary, and I'm seeing so many women is depressed. And in the document that I watched was called When the Bow Breaks. There are women in that documentary that either then committed suicide, or they then killed their child, or killed their child in themselves. And I didn't go back to watch it because I just felt the unction to pray. I felt the unction to take this subject to the Word so we could get a better understanding of what's going on, because this is considered a mental illness. So I was like, God, what's going on? Because I've had thoughts like we all do, but I make sure I don't give in to them, because I understand that Satan is at work when he's trying to suggest an idea. So that's why I was like, this topic have to go to the Bible. I can't really, don't want to go in the history of, because mental illness is a spirit. So yes. So that's why I'm just going to go through a timeline of scriptures to encourage you, the person that's viewing it, to stay encouraged, and don't let the enemy take the bond that you have between you and your child. That child needs you, especially as a baby. So as I was looking at it, I was like, God, what you got to say about all this? And so I began to look in the scriptures and stuff. So since this is going to be my introduction video, I'm going to show you guys what can lead to PSTD, postpartum. I mean, not postpartum, but what can lead to mental illness is trauma. So I'm going to show y'all my 2 books I wrote, and I'm going to give you some details of my personal experience with, I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. This is my book. It's called I Choose to Live Out of the Shadows into the Light. It was released in 2020. If you would like a copy, you can go on Amazon, type in I Choose to Live by Alexis Murphy. It's on there. I'm going to give you a brief story about my life. I don't think I ever shared it on this recent channel about my personal life. This is about me from the time I was born up until I got married. As you see, it's very thick. But I used to have seizures. I was molested at the age of 16 all the way to, I was molested all the way from 14 to 16 by my grandmother's husband. I used to have seizures. I was on tons of medications. I always heard growing up that I would never be anything. I would never be nothing. My sickness was used as a financial gain. My grandmother got custody of me because my 3 brothers, my 2 brothers and my 1 sister, they all left my mom, and I was the only one left because we had 2 different fathers, and I was traumatized. So my mom was so traumatized that she couldn't take care of me, so DHR put me in the hands of my grandmother, and I had more trauma. And everybody around me, and to this day, nobody in my family believes in me. And I'm telling y'all, that experience, I know what depression feels like. It can feel like a weight over you, and it's like a curse that you cannot break. And you got all these issues. You got all these me being molested, my father abandoned me, my mom really basically abandoned me, everybody in the family, I'm the one that get picked on. And so that drove me to a state of depression. It did. It drove me to a point that I didn't feel good about myself. I was always depressed. And my family convinced me that I needed help. And all I was doing was having seizures and being a typical child. So but thank God I overcame it. This is what depression looks like when you got negativity around you. Let me check my camera again. Okay, I'm about to wrap it up. And of course, you know, this is my second book. I've shared way more details about my son. If you want to purchase this book, it is also found on Amazon.com. Type in I Choose to Live 2, The Life and Loss of Zane. You can type in I Choose to Live, Alexis Murphy. It will pull these books up. But losing a child is very depressing. That's all I got to say. I've shared a lot of details about my baby and who he was. So I also, just like I did in my book, I started from the time he was conceived, where me and my husband was, the day he died, the funeral, the life after having to accept to live without him. Very depressing. I remember cleaning up today and I just thought about 2019 and I started crying because I told God I don't know how I made it through that. I was very happy when he was born. His birth was something special. So the reason why I put my books up is because I want people to know that birthing a baby is supposed to be a beautiful thing, not a depressing thing. So I'm going to cut this off because I don't want it to cut off on me. And then we're going to get into the topic about, and we're going to put the word on this situation. And so here we go. So let me get up again with my big old belly.